Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? This is my good side. I'm here with you. Let's see what just happened. I was trying to put up the NeoWise video, and hackers kept shutting my microphone off. So I thought I would go live and give them or anyone a chance to say whatever they want to. A lot of times I just gab away. But today, I will be doing my best to read whatever you guys say. And in American tradition, we drink beer around the 4th of July. So this video will probably be kind of short because I've only got 2 beers. Though the beer store sells more beers. So I just want to say cheers to everyone at Asteroid Fight Club. I got $163 left in my fundraiser. But, you guys take good care of me, so no matter what, pretty sure Thor Dudes will be around all month. And so thank you to everybody out there. Thank you to freedom. Thank you to love. Thank you to peace. Thank you to hope. Thank you to God. Thank you to Jesus. Oh, so, I've got like all this art laying around. And so up here, it says, Jesus Christ, Lord, please help me communicate with thee. And there, this symbol is I love you. And then it says I love you. And then it's got the moon. Oops. The moon right there. The moon is here. Jupiter's there. And then it's got a volcano. And then it's got Satori flying in the air. His eyes. And then what? Eye to eye. Face to face. We are in chaotic neutral territory. You and I. And then here, here's just a doodle where it says, Star Lords and Rocket Men, plus the women who love them. And so, man, I'm just hanging out. What are you guys up to? Are you enjoying 2020? Are you enjoying July so far? Are you enjoying the 4th, the 3rd? Here in like an hour, the moon will be coming up over the horizon. It'll be full. People have recommended not looking at the eclipse. I'm going to try not to. Sometimes I get tempted to do dumb shit. How about you? Oh my God, beer is good. Because it's like cold and delicious. Oh. Shout out to all women out there and any smells that are decent. I can smell this. It smells like rose water. And so I don't have the virus. So cheers to that. Cheers to not getting a damn plague. Yeah, I don't have much to say today because I've said a lot in the last 3 days. So I'm hoping you guys will help carry the conversation. If you have any interesting question or things you want to pontificate on, I know that right now there's... Ooh. Thank you, Drifting Cowboy. And I love cowboys. That may sound weird, but it's true. Man. I love horses and dogs and outdoors. Although you may not get that impression from the channel lately, since I've been locked in this box for a long time. Technically, now we're all locked there, It was like, I've been in lockdown for like 2 years because Planetary Defense Commander, you want to play excellent defense. And then oddly enough, everybody else kind of got caught in the predicament I'm in. And so that's wild. Wagon breath. Yeah, so like I said, we're kind of all, here's how I'm looking at it. We're all in graduate school for the next 2 years. And no, graduate school may not be the funnest thing that you've ever encountered in your whole life, but hopefully over the next 2 years, we are going to learn a lot together. Now, I had hoped we would have the summer to put together little groups and little pockets of creative, talented teams that could work together over the next 2 years. But man, did we screw the pooch on that, So we're all going to hang in there. And, the Leo King, the guy's information I really appreciate, And I think people will definitely be more grateful when we get out of this. But Leo King said the main focus, one of the main focuses for the next 6 months is going to be on people's mental health. You know? And so that sounds like a winning thing. So together, you and I and all of us are going to be participating in keeping everybody's mental health above average. And yeah, the people who've been trolling everybody for 8 years, they're still going to try to troll us. That's fine. But, I've been monitoring their progress. And like I said, the fact that my hackers were messing with me just like a half hour ago, I think that's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, being a secret troll out there trying to make people unhappy, that doesn't seem to lead to a very high quality life. And eventually the people around you can sniff it out, and they don't want to be around you anymore. Yeah, we have to do the best we can with what we got. And we're in chrysalis. It's like we're in caterpillar form. Oh yeah, and so I do have a fundraiser going on. So I got $162 left and a car. If someone wants to donate a car to Thor News, what is up? That would be greatly appreciated. I mean, although I don't expect it. I would prefer a Mustang or a truck. Man, if there's one thing I daydream about a lot now, it's driving. Andrew! But yeah, God bless everyone. As Dave Chappelle put it eloquently, I'm going to paraphrase him. He said, anyone who makes it through this, you are my hero. And so anyone who makes it through this with a sense of humor, you are my hero. H-Town holding it down. Yes, H-Town has course corrected. I've specifically pointed out in May that like the QAnon, MAGA, Elon Musk, the like super dumbass bros, no disrespect to MAGA people, but like just the pure fucking idiots who don't care about other people's grandmothers, like the people who literally will kill their grandmother for will money, they had like a wave of dipshittery that flowed through Houston from May until the start of July. And so we made it through that so far. But man, that's why I was really depressed for like 3 days. Because I couldn't, but QAnon's been talking about, QAnon lives in Houston. And he's been talking about moving to Colorado with the Oppenheimer Ranch bunch for a while. So didn't surprise me that QAnon is not loyal to Texas or Houston. Although I appreciate it because the white electrical box that was like the QAnon box, they painted over it with butterflies. So I super appreciated that. I don't know, dude, this is super spiritual warfare. And I super love Texas and I super love Houston. And I've gotten so much fucking aggro from this town. Shout out to Sam and the Music Mafia. I still love everybody, but I recognize that we are in a super spiritual warfare time. And like I said, that there are people who are really only concerned about money and making other people miserable. And that is their number one concern. That's not my game, bro. And they had their fun 6 years. But that season is over. Over. But I love and forgive all my haters and my hackers and the people I totally disagree with and the people who are trying to fuck up Cat. Redacted. One of my favorite words. I don't know, but like I've said before, I recommend keeping Texas, and staying as independent as we can. Texas doesn't need a fucking president, really. But, we're not gonna secede right now. I'm just saying, it's never been our identity to where we idol worship a politician. And Ann Richards was a pretty good governor back in the day. So yeah, no, so I came on to say hi to you guys because my hackers seem very upset today. And it's weird how my hackers always get upset around holidays. I don't know if they have kids and then have issues with their baby's mama. Especially like, I can't even imagine having a child now and having gone through a divorce. Because a lot of times it seems like divorced people have like these giant wounds that never heal. And that so being divorced and having a kid together allows them to just attack each other through the rest of their life if they want to. And I partially speak because my mom and dad they got divorced and they didn't get along to the day he died. And so I don't know, maybe it's part of the reason I've never got married and never got divorced, because it can lead to bad things. But like I said, I've noticed definitely around the holidays, whatever reason my hackers, their displaced aggression ends up on me. Hey everybody, I'm here chilling with you. I've only got 2 beers, so this may be short. Hey Georgia. So like, I love divorcees. I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just saying, my hackers usually get really mad or upset around the holidays. And I wonder what causes that. And I know a few of them have been divorced. Hey, thanks. And I'm going to stay high, fat man. And I'm going to stay fat so that way I don't make any bad romantic decisions. You know? Iraq. No, but I want poutine. German food. What's up, Dave? Hey, Janice. Hey, all y'all. And I just want to say you guys are so great. That I know my life choices have been weird, but I don't regret in any way, shape, or form being Planetary Defense Commander. Somewhere around 2014, 2015, going, hey guys, I'm going to be Planetary Defense Commander. Which, for a while it sounded dumb, but then the plague hit, and I was like, I definitely made the right choice. Where's the whiskey? I drank this whole bottle in 2 sittings. So, I guess I got a little swig left. I'm definitely staying off the whiskey today, because I don't know if you guys know this, but you get hangovers. Although the Maker's Mark is a smooth whiskey and its hangover was minimal. And so, yeah, this is just a very laid back. I don't have shit to talk about. Hopefully y'all are going to bring up interesting stuff. And even no matter how interesting you guys get, I've only got a beer and a half left. I'll probably go to the beer store because as a white male American, it is like my job. You got to drink beer on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Or they take away your man card. And that is a joke. I'm not peer pressured into drinking. You know, it would be interesting to watch my drinking curve over the year. Because it definitely was way up in March and April. And then we started doing good, and then it started to go down, and then you guys know what has happened. And for lack of a better term, shit's pretty fucked up. No, this is just a Sponge shirt. It just says Sponge. Sponge is one of the best rock and roll bands in the universe. They're one of the most underrated rock and roll bands in the universe. A year ago, George sent me a contribution so I could take an Uber. I'd never taken an Uber in my life. I went like 25 miles across Texas because my favorite band was playing for the first time in like 10 years. And so they played all of my favorite songs. And they were all wearing, when they all got on stage, they were all wearing Ray-Bans, man. They're all wearing Danger Zone glasses. And they all looked at me. And I was like, this is a nice moment. And then I stood by the giant, like 7-foot amplifier, like right in front of it. And you could just feel the healing waves. And so, yeah, this video is partially brought to you by one of the best underrated rock and roll bands ever, Sponge. I would highly recommend looking up their song Wax Ecstatica that they performed on David Letterman, because they did that in 1994, and it was like right at the height of like when things were starting to get really good and we were heading in the direction of peace. It was right before they killed Kurt Cobain. But that was like the energy, and it was this really rock solid, awesome, the future is ours energy. And then we had the 9/11 Silicon Valley Schadenfreuders swoop in and disrupt everything. It's not like we're bookending, man. Like we had the first July 4th eclipse in 2001. And so this is like the bookend of that eclipse. And so a lot of people are saying that, we could get another major 9/11 event in 2020. And I don't doubt that. And we should definitely be preparing for something like that mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because crazy shit happens when we elect Republican presidents. Like, I don't know, man. Like, everybody who all the same, I'm 48, all the same fucking people used to be like, George W. Bush is a savior. George W. Bush is the greatest president we ever had. George W. Bush is the best American we ever knew. And so for 7.5 years, we dealt with all the fucking idiots literally just bullhorning everybody all the fucking time. And no, I'm not saying Clinton was good or that Obama was perfect, but the Dick Cheney Rumsfeld regime was like 9/11 happened under that regime. And then we went with 9/11 where you had like 11 of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. So Rumsfeld and Cheney were like, hey man, we're going to go invade Iraq, which led to hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and surrounding Middle East people dying. And most Americans were like, hey, fuck it, man, whatever. We're doing it for the flag, bro. And part of the reason I am the guy today who tells you not to trust politicians is that I was there for 2000 and through the whole shit. And at the end of it, they just handed Wall Street a blank check. And our world has never been the same. Like, literally, at the end of Bush's term, they handed a blank check to the banks. They lowered interest rates to 0, and bankers have just been running the fucking show. And they started like an Occupy movement and space weather in the truth community. But I'm here with you. And I have motherfuckers saying they're going to kill me since 2013, and I am still here. Make no mistake that, I think Republicans are a little worse when it comes to their ethics winning an election. But both sides will pretty much do whatever it takes to win the fucking election. And whoever wins that election, we're pretty much still going to have the oil and war and deception gods trying to fuck us up. And they're really like, there are really like, I don't know, there's like 10% of Americans who want to start a racial civil war, which blows my motherfucking mind. It's like the least American thing of all time. Yeah, this is crazy shit. It's like, this is so fucking crazy. And right now, they're having the Mount Rushmore rally, and the governor of South Dakota was like, hey, dude, no social distancing. We don't need that shit here. And so, 2020 is like, I suggest everybody play defense. I suggest everybody be cool. And my screen on my phone is so bad it's hard to read. But I love you guys. I love y'all. We're going to make it through 2020. We're probably going to lose some people, though. I don't want to bore you with statistics, But I saw something that said 45% of people who had to get hospitalized for the virus, who leave the hospital after hospitalization, still require treatment and medicine specifically designed to deal with the virus itself and the damage it's done. So I don't want that thing, you know? Like I have this, sometimes my shadow side brain comes up with really horrible ideas. Like for example, if you're going to play an NBA season, like they show that like 12% of all players are infected, like we'll at least give the infected players like 10 points a bucket. So every time an infected player scores a basket, they get 10 points over the 3 points or the 2 points. Now then I realized the players who were really competitive would then try to get the virus just so they could win the games. So that idea is really bad. Or I was thinking, take like 10 people who are usually MAGA QAnon conservatives who don't believe in the virus at all. And so I say, get them all infected, put them in a Big Brother house, you know, where like, and where you got cameras everywhere. And then so for the next month, and pay them all $1 million each. And then so for the next month, you can watch 10 different people every minute of the day suffer from whatever the coronavirus is or isn't. Now that is a horrible idea, and I would never suggest that or recommend that. But I'm just saying, I don't know. It's like I said, that we did great in Texas, and then we had a surge, the same people who cheated in the World Series. I mean, Texas isn't perfect. God, no. You know? I love it, but I know that she got some warts. Remember, like, I've talked about this, like, when we saved the world in 2015 from World War III, we had a giant bubble of, like, really good energy from 2016 through, like, 2017. I mean, not the greatest bubble we've ever seen, but there was a flow of hope, especially from, like, 2016 to the mid-2017. And so, like, I had noted on right around the middle of 2017, things were getting super sketchy, especially for me, and it's the reason I went into lockdown. Where, like, being Planetary Defense Commander, I had the oil industry always talking to me angry. I had the music mafia always talking to me angry. I had Silicon Valley talking to me angry. Like, and none of them wanted to unite in any way, shape, or form. And they were all like, we're king shit of fuck mountain. And so at that exact time, that is when Houston decided to cheat to win the World Series. Now, remember, I gave up sports the minute I started being Planetary Defense Commander or started my YouTube channel. But that's what I'm talking about, where like we had this good energy bubble, and then like there were forces in Houston who were like, no, we're just gonna stay to our old ways. And that didn't go so hot. And then, like I said, we did great in Texas dealing with the virus, but you still have your insurgents in Texas where the only thing they really give a shit about is a president and an election. And then, like I said, the QAnon I know, dude, even though he's lived in Texas his whole life, he can't wait to move to fucking Colorado. A lot of people, if you offer them enough money, they will sell you the fuck out. They'll sell out your grandma, they'll sell out your state, your nation. Fuck, I'm sick of those people. And, oh, I'm a beer in. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me get all this off my chest. And we are almost a year away from, like I've said, there's, like one of the bars I used to go to was like one of the underworld bars where on any given night you could go to the bar and the bar would just be filled with famous people. The most famous people in the world would be there at that local Houston bar. And so on July 11th, the night that Hurricane Barry was barreling towards Louisiana, me and QAnon went, and it was an amazing night. And that 4 of my biggest crushes were there, and some of the top musicians in the world were there, and 3 bands played, I watched one of the top pop stars in the world front a rock and roll band, which was like one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And it was a beautiful night all the way around. And from that moment on, there's been a bubble around the lower 48 hurricane-wise, where somehow nothing fucks with us in any way in a negative bad shape so far. But the night after, and I left. Like as soon as the show was over, I just left because it was weird. Because I talked about 4 of the ladies' butts on Twitter that day. Anyway, so, but the very day that was over, I got an email saying that like, All Star Asteroid Fight Club is being disbanded. You will no longer run it. That will never happen again. Like somebody was pissed off that we had done a good thing and we're going in a good direction. And I believe in my heart that if like that, if us as a group would have continued on that path, we would have avoided the motherfucking plague. That like in a hypothetical sense, bad decisions kept getting piled on. And so you had one secret group try to steal the virus from China, the lab, because it was bioengineered. And so that ended up in a gunfight, and literally like the virus went tumbling through the air in a glass vial, and then it hit the ground 12 monkey style. And so things have been super clusterfucked since, right? That is what I believe. And so we caused this virus, and it is some of the lamest shit that some of the same groups that tried to steal the virus are now gaslighting and blaming it on a specific group. That is just the underhanded bullshit we are fucking dealing with. But like I'm saying, so from that July point where a very good thing happened, remember one of my main things is like, let's bring back rock and roll, y'all. Like the show I saw, I wanted to bring to everybody. Everybody deserved to see that power level of rock and roll. Good poppy rock and roll. And the minute that fucking happened, I had a bunch of people that were like, this shit is getting shut down. Music Mafia does not approve. QAnon does not approve. Oil industry does not approve. Silicon Valley does not approve. I could be totally wrong on a lot of the shit, but that is how I saw it. And so that was the closest I ever got to helping to unify everybody and to taking a step in the right direction. It was in July 11th. They shut it down, and six months later, everybody was starting to worry about the virus. What up, Noodles? That is God's honest truth from my perspective. And so I can feel there's a lot of angst from the rich and the famous, where like they really dislike the situation. No, the super rich who are smart are living on some super island, although they all miss the seeing Hamilton in person. They miss going to the movies. They miss going to giant outdoor rock shows. They miss eating at fine dining. They miss going to the top clubs. They miss all the cool shit that comes along with it. They miss all the shit I warned about them losing for 5 years. And so for me, it feels like 2020 is all about patience and staying on messaging, I guess. I mean, I should have been better about telling everybody to wear masks. Something so simple. Like I was just doing it, even now, like the Planetary Defense Commander run from December 15th to now, I'm so fucking tired. Spiritually, mentally, physically. I'm cool though. And you guys are worth it. Wink and a heart, Janice. And I gotta say, the most beautiful women on the planet. Everything they do is incredible. They're like a kitten times a million. The way they move, the way they stand. Like there was this one part where the rock and roll pop star singer I was talking about, she was singing on stage, and I was, I don't know, in the back like 30 feet, but standing on a bench by the window, by the wall. To the window, to the wall. And she was like singing her heart out. And then at one point she snapped straight back and looked straight at me. Man, that was sexy. I'm never going to forgive that. And then sitting right across from me was one of the top malware infosec women on the planet, who's super gorgeous and now married and has a kid. And when I saw that it was her, like we had like a staring contest for like a minute. And I was like, man, that's the real Daenerys right there. But the actual Daenerys was there as well. It was a great day. And I was like, holy crap, the tide is turning. The good days are coming. And then I got punished for that shit. And I was like, okay, whatever. Here comes the fucking plague, bro. But worst case scenario, the middle of America could have fallen in. I didn't know what was going to happen in 2020, but I knew that it was going to change everybody's game. I made multiple videos saying, here, the world is going to change now. And so here we are. And it's like with all the planets retrograding, all the planets on the same side, Jupiter and Saturn lining up, Eris, like the universe has pretty much given us a year to slow down and figure it all out. Michael, thank you. I wrote that down. And thank you to Michael, and thank you to Archangel Michael. I'm going to tell you guys a personal story. And shout out to my cousin Michael. I miss my cousins Andy and Michael. They're two cool dudes. I would love to hang out with my cousins Michael, Andy, Scotty, and Cameron, and Rachel someday again. If I do that in my damn pen, I'm going to do my best to stay cool. But I've said before that, like, at Mama 2, one of the funniest women I've ever known my whole life, she colored this for me. Hagrid. And my stepdad died in 2018. And 2018 was like when all my hackers were really coming after me and hacking into everything, stealing everything. 2018 was the hardest year of my life. So 2020 is much easier for me personally than 2018. God's honest truth. And so the point I'm trying to make is, I just forgot it. I guess that means I should vape. Oh, that when I pray, I always pray to Jesus and God. But things got so bad, I started praying to Archangel Michael. Like, please protect me. Please protect us. Archangel Michael, please. Because if there has been one, it is said that one person who can kick the devil's ass, who can kick Satan's ass, who can kick Lucifer's ass, who can kick Cthulhu's ass. If there is one super badass that protects our guardian of the solar system or the galaxy, it is Archangel Michael. And the funniest thing is that, I don't know, like a week later, I got a postcard. And it was like the Hopi warrior princess and Michael, the Viking Marine. And they're like, we want to talk to you. And I was like, what? And then they shut up at my door. And then they have this thing where they get really happy with me, and then they get upset. At the moment, they're upset with me because the way I talked about women. A lot of people get upset that I talk about women's butts or women's boobs, even though I do it in a comedic way or try to. Anyhow, so I'm just saying that over the last 2-3 years that, like, my relationship with Archangel Michael has definitely improved. And so I got a lot of love for all Michaels. So whether it be Archangel Michael or my cousin Michael. Mikes are usually pretty cool guys. Like, you got to give shout outs to like the Joes out there, the Joeys. There are a lot of cool Joes, the Daves. That's why it's so upsetting to me when I ever come across a really dipshitty asshole, cowardly Dave, because Dave is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite names on the planet. David is a very powerful name. You guys are too cool. That is a cool sticker. Wrong glasses. If I had a girlfriend, I might get LASIK. Because I used to have 20/20 vision. Whoa, Mecca. Thank you, Wagon Breath. Y'all are great. Thank you. And anyway, but thank you for listening. I got 49 people. Wagon Breath is rocking the future. Hopefully, Noodles, we're all rocking the future. Eventually. Soon, now. Did you see that Marvel acquired Predator and Alien? And I don't know, like a month ago, DC Detective Comics got rid of their distributor, Diamond. And I was like, get rid of it! Because, not lead them in the right direction. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we see a DC Marvel grouping, which would then eventually lead to the possibility of super awesome, amazing Marvel, DC, X-Men crossover animated stuff, live action movies. You'd have to plan that thing out super well over the next decade or two, but that would be like a dream come true. Me going to see the Avengers in the movie theater was one of the coolest things. I was like, because I've been a comic nerd since I was like 13 or younger. And so watching the Avengers on the screen was like one of the coolest. That was so cool. And the first one, I went with Mason. And he bought me the hammer, the Thor's hammer. And I got in trouble because I kept throwing it at the screen before the movie started and then going and picking it up because it was just like a styrofoam hammer. It was like $25 hammer, perfectly weighted styrofoam, so I could throw it like 100 yards, hit the movie screen, it would drop and nothing would get hurt. And then they eventually told me to stop. And then the last Avengers movie I saw with Apollo. So I knew I'm big. Because here's the deal. In the last video we saw, I talked about the weird balance of being a Christian and a planetary defense commander and a Texan and a man. And so there's the whole thing that they didn't know, like after the New Testament, you were not allowed to add any type of divine narrative. That they had that shit locked down. And so if you were going to add anything to any type of a divine narrative, you had to do it through science fiction, or you had to do it through comic books. And even the very first guy, was it the 1600s, 1500s, 1400s? The very first guy who wrote a story about going to the moon, they arrested him, they put him in a town square, and they either burned him or they killed him. Because he was a heretic for suggesting that one day humans could go to the moon. And the church was like, we do not like you putting those ideas in people. Is anybody out there? Is back? So yeah, dude. Jesus kicked over the bankers' tables, the politicians' tables, and soon he was murdered. I don't think any Christians or people should ever forget that. That God is my everything. Jesus is my bridge to God and God at the same time. But that religions and politicians are not necessarily good and usually bad, dude. And so, I don't know, a lot of times people get on me for talking about comic books or The Matrix all the time. But it's like, I'm trying to be in the middle zone where you can tell people about real shit. And that it's one of the best ways to do it. through science fiction or comic books, man. That is one of the keys to one of the secrets of why I do what I do. And to me, Jesus was the first superhero. And so we were doing our best. But I still love all non-Christians. Like they were my brother. And I do not judge them. That is God's position. So it's all weird. What am I, only a beer and a half in? Crazy. I love you guys so much. I would hug every single one of you right now if I could. And if we could live in an imaginary world, I would love to be able to sit down with every one of my hackers and haters and talk for an hour on a live broadcast where you can see both of our faces and you can hear everything we say and you can see how we react to every single thing. Because, man, I can gab with anybody. And usually my positions are pretty cool. Just like Michael told me to stay cool. And I'm not usually here to throw people under the bus. But sometimes if you poke me with a stick enough times, I'm going to say some shit that I'll probably regret later. And that hopefully people will understand, especially knowing the 7.7 years that I've been doing this, that you had to see, especially since 2015, how in the truth community, you had to fall into like one category, one hive mind category. You had to be pushing Trump or attacking non-Trump. You had to be grand solar minimum. And then you had to be okay with cryptocurrency. And that, so if you were in those camps, you did pretty well. And if you weren't, they tried to get rid of everybody. And they were doing fucking great till the plague hit. Man, you know, they had gotten as cocky as Democrats were before the election. And I mentioned that several times. I was like, do you get the irony that Republicans are now as cocky and as full of themselves as Democrats were up until November? That is how the universe and karma works. But before all the troubles for me, I was kind of a cocky, not as cool as I am now. So I appreciate all my haters and my hackers. I appreciate everybody out there, all the cool people. I try to appreciate everything without having it lose its meaning. But dude, the fact that it is July 3rd and you and I are here together, the magic 45 people. Pendulums. You know, many Christians would slam you for toking cigarettes and drinking the beer. But like I've said, I'm a Norse, which is Viking, Christian Jedi. And so I've mentioned many times, my grandmother on my mom's side, Virginia, when she raised me on the Norse myths, the Elder Eddas, the Poetic Eddas, and Christianity. I got baptized in communion as a Lutheran. And so when I was raised by my grandmother, I was just like the Native Americans are protesting Mount Rushmore today. My grandmother taught me to respect even the ones that were on the planet for thousands of years before Jesus got here. So it was like the Viking for me was like Old Testament. So like the Viking is my Old Testament, and then the New Testament, Jesus is my New Testament. So that is how I was raised. And throughout my life, that has always made the most sense. And I appreciate both my grandmothers. Remember, my grandma on my dad's side was a Norwegian too. They were both Norwegians. And so it was important for them to instill in me the Norse side of me and the Christian side. And so that's kind of how I got to be who I am. Yeah, dude. But like I said, I've had penis to vagina relations with 16 women that I was never married to. So am I going to go to hell for that? Maybe. But if I found the right woman, I would definitely put my penis in her vagina today. Though my standards are really high, man. And I have a weakness for the most beautiful women in the world. I tell you, if they walk up to you and they get real close, they have this aura and a power about them. And I know I get in trouble when I talk about this, but I think it is important for men to discuss what is true. And that I think women are more powerful than men. Though that is not something that many people will ever say. It's like women are the engine and men are the wheels. And you don't have to agree with that. And I love you. But so yeah, I definitely get Christians who are like, you shouldn't be drinking. But Jesus turned water to wine, man. The third paragraph of Genesis said, I, God, give you all green seed-bearing plants. And so whether it was tobacco or marijuana or the peace pipe, I don't know, like I love Native Americans. And I definitely think they have gotten a super fucking raw deal, bro. And on the day that I stared at the sun for a couple hours and it looked 5D, the woman that I saw in the sun looked like a Native American and she was so beautiful. You know? Oh, so how have y'all's dreams been? I think for like the first time this year, I don't remember last night's dreams. Oh, but that's another great thing. I have trouble sleeping, y'all. And so the one good thing about whiskey is if you drink a half bottle of whiskey, you're going to be able to sleep. Although technically I only slept 5 hours, but I still slept. You guys are really great. Did I miss somebody? If there's somebody out there that sent me a super chat and I did not say thank you, because the numbers are off. And honestly, I want to say again, thank you to everybody. The fact that I get to be Planetary Defense Commander, I get to make videos I want every day. The fact that I don't have a boss, I've never been more appreciative of being able to do that. And I've mentioned, I actually love the game show aspect of, am I going to do enough good work over this month in July to make it into August? Part of me loves that. Part of me loves the risk-reward factor of this. That I don't have a steady paycheck and I love it. You know? Can I talk to you guys about weird shit? All right, so there's this thing called ADD, ADHD. And so I get a drug called Adderall when I have a doctor. And that helps me stay super focused. And so if you combine me believing in love and romance and ADD, I can put out a lot of really great edited videos. But that whole thing where I had all these famous women floating around me for like 2 years, that really burned me out on romance for whatever reason. And then my first doctor just died, and he was in Dallas. And then so I went finally and got a second doctor here in Houston, and then the plague hit and he doesn't do telemedicine. And so I called today about possibly going to get back on ADHD, because when Solar Maximum kicks back in, I want to be putting out the best videos in the universe again, especially when there is no movie making and no show running. And they were like, you know, it's like $350 initial consultation, and then it's like $75 every visit. But the first time you got to come in person. And so I was like, what? What? Do you guys know there's a plague? So I told her I'd think about it. And then that means I gotta get a ride 20 miles away. Apollo, if you're watching, when I called you today to ask for a big favor, that's what the favor is. Apollo, if you let me hop in the bed of your truck, you will take me there, then I'll do it. I don't know. I miss making the greatest videos out there. And no, I don't. I can make them without the medicine, but focusing in 2020 is hard, dude. And keeping up unbridled optimism for a 20-hour period while checking in on the news every 3 minutes is quite a gift. Cheers. Cheers. Somebody said, platitudes you can accept. Cheers, YouTube unsubscribe to me. And cheers to you. Let's all drink together. And that this is part of the, that I try not to complain, but if I do complain, I do it in a funny way. But that, yeah, dude, I've just been getting a raw deal okay, I've told this story many times, but like the 5th video I ever did was like NASA hides solar coronal mass ejection footage because they literally took down some of the footage they put up. And I got like 25,000 views in like a day. And then from that day on, I know, like, I don't know, from that day, like my 5th or 11th video, from that day on, I've noticed that like everything has been weird and I've been in some weird shadow lockbox. And so, yeah, I get people that Google is a strange boss, but I'm still super appreciative that A, I'm alive, and B, I still have a channel. Because like we've seen the pre-election, it's going to get weird, man. That the next 5 months are going to be an all-out war between the two sides trying to win the election. But I think that Google's been super pro-conservative. People will disagree with that, but if you look at it, the reports that leading up into the election, that, and even I've recorded things where after a lot of times I watch my video, the next video will send me to straight to Fox News. I think the whole time that Trump worked with Google, Twitter, Facebook, he worked with all the digital companies to win the presidency, which is why you've seen MAGA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, MAGAF, they have done the best under Trump. The technology companies have done the best, hands down. And I stand by my belief system that both Democrats and Republicans were working for Trump, and Trump's main job is to get up there and distract everybody every single day, to talk about some crazy shit every 12 hours that keeps everybody running around going, squirrel, 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 squirrel. And that the plague hit everybody totally off guard. And that they never expected that it would shift over to Biden. And so that is where we're at, that God and the universe surprises us all. That if your hubris gets too big, God will strike your fucking plans down. The best laid plans of mice and men. And I forgive everyone, and I hope you guys forgive me. MAGA's Gentle Giant with the triple threes. Yeah. And with this eclipse coming up, thank you, dude. Thank you, sir. With the triple eclipse coming up, which is a Capricorn, and Saturn retrograding into Capricorn until November, December, heavy karma is going to be happening. And look, one of the least fun things to do now is to talk to people about the virus. Everybody's sick of it. Nobody wants to deal with it. People just want it to go away. Everybody wants to return to 2019 life. But it's my job. And so I have noticed that anytime people like lash out and are like, fuck this virus, that they get paid. That there was a wedding party in India where they had like 200 people. All 200 people got infected. Herman Cain went to the fucking Tulsa Trump rally. He now is in the hospital for the virus. Sun gazing. Thank you, Megas Gentle Giant. Herman Cain, dude. And so, like, I have tried to, Trump is my president, and I'm his planetary defense commander. But like I said, that whole team doesn't listen to a fucking word I say. And right now, the idea of throwing public rallies is the stupidest shit you could do. Especially without trying to push a mask mandate. I know nobody likes it. I know it's no fun. But if we're trying to save lives, everybody's lives, a 20-year-old girl died in Houston from coronavirus the other day. A 10-year-old girl died in Florida from the coronavirus. Like it is the stupidest fucking shit to throw a fucking rally. You're going to have the Republican convention this month in Houston. And so, in this karma season, death is around. I will be surprised if Trump makes it to the election without getting the virus. And I do not want him to get the virus. I wish he would stay the fuck home and do things remotely, because the risk reward of going out to a big group just so you can hear them all scream your name is just not good in 2020. But like I said, I can't tell them anything. You cannot and it has just been to me that the truth community has been pushing don't worry about the virus. It's a hoax. It's just a flu. Like Richie from Boston's it doesn't even exist. It blows my mind. And so they're always trying to downplay it. And it is definitely still weird, but we are going to be dealing with it. The sun may be lessening its effects now in the summer, but we could also see in the next 5 days the numbers start to explode. And we may get lulled into a defensive sleep to where during the summer, as I predicted, the virus is not going to be as potent, but when cloud cover and cold temperatures return, the virus will get much fucking stronger. We are supposed to be battling this nonstop throughout all of 2020. Crap. Why won't it let me? Sun gazing enlarges your penile. Well, my penile seems big enough. That was a joke. But I used to stare into the sun all the time. But my vision's gotten so bad lately that I still stare into the sun. But anyway, so it is definitely not fun being the guy trying to remind everybody to play good defense. And especially when Wall Street is back in the truth community trying to get people not to take the fucking virus seriously. And so, like I've talked about earlier, the show where take all the head truth community guys who downplay the virus and put out whatever information trying to tell you that oh, it's not real, you don't have to worry about it. Put them in a super mansion for a month with the virus, and then we can all watch 24 hours. Prove to me that it's a hoax. Get the fucking virus, and then videotape yourself the whole fucking time and show, hey man, it's no worse than the flu. Until you're willing to do that, I'm not going to take your information fucking seriously. Because a lot of people have died, bro. It would be and I saw a tweet the other day that said basically there are two levels of people who take the virus seriously. They're the people from New York, and there's everybody else. So it'd be like if the truth community spent an entire 6 months trying to convince everyone that 9/11 was a hoax and never happened. Although technology wasn't as good then, so it would have been harder. Man, I want my sense of humor to return. Hopefully it will. But cheers. Happy 4th of July. And let's all try to work to get to a better place. Pretty please. And if you go back and look, I was, quote unquote, talking shit to Democrats at the end of the last 2 years, where they had just gone mentally bonkers. Remember, before the election, the biggest concern was man spreading. When a man's legs are, open wide on a bus. That was the big issue that was being pushed, was that how do we stop men from man spreading on the bus? That was the number one concern. It was very anti-man back then. Very anti-rock and roll, for sure. And so it was like the pendulum swing, but the 8 years of craziness under Democrats, now we've exceeded that in almost 4 years. But the beautiful part of that is that we will have a chance to go down the center now. We will have a chance to discard all of our old super shitty beliefs that are based in capitalism, socialism, communism, to come up with a better system for everyone in the world. A one family system. We share the same water. We share the same air. We want to feed everybody. We don't want Look, one of the things I've been very vocal about is the prison for profit system. You combine that with the illegal drug system, and you pretty much just got a super cartel. And so I'm not surprised that 6% of our law enforcement, who I think the other 94% are fantastic, but you got a 6% white supremacist, nihilist bent, especially in prison guards. There are many records of prison guards being the most nihilistic, mean, schadenfreude motherfuckers that ever existed, that they love torturing people. So I'm anti-torturers. Those people who want to torture other people for their own happiness. Those people who want to make people miserable for their own happiness. We've seen it in the troll community, where people are trolling people constantly because they love it. Well, those days are coming to an end, one way or another. And I don't think it was a very good emotional, spiritual, energetic investment. But who knows, man? Okay, so to wrap up, because I gotta go get either more beer and I gotta check the moon. We gotta do our best to take care of our own mental health and my physical health, I'm gonna try to get back in shape at some point. And that it's very important for us to try to stay sane and stay cool over the next 6 months. But please expect for shit to get wilder, weirder, and faster after the eclipse. When the eclipse the eclipse energy is over, this 3-act structure, we're going to be set all, whatever direction we're going in energetically, it's going to be wild. And I wish I wasn't so tired. I've been so tired for the last 5 days. Exhausted. Because I will do what I can to pour good energy into whatever jump off point the 4th and the 5th is going to be. Remember, every single one of you has power. Every single person on the planet has power. I mean, I feel powerful. And for at least 10 seconds, I smell good. Thank you to Budweiser and all beer makers. Thank you to Cowboys. Thank you to women. Hey, yeah, we're all having to reassess how we're going to handle the next 6 months and the next 2 years. You know, if you look back on plagues of the past, they last about 2 to 3 years. And I thought we could generate enough hope, optimism, love, light, happiness, joy, comedy to help wake the sun up at July 4th. And that when the sun woke up, it woke up so amazingly that its magic cosmic rays killed the plague. That was my optimistic hope point. That it was this lunar eclipse is like one of the energetic portals where you're choosing your futures. And so it was one of the things that I pushed for all year, but I gotta say, I don't think we're gonna get there, man. Nothing positive seems to last long in the narratives. Instead of positive shit, we get Karens screaming at people or pointing guns at people or trying to bust through solid plate glass because they were told to wear masks when they were buying their fucking Oreos and chocolate milk. I'm trying to tell jokes here. But if you'll notice, in most of the freak out videos, they're white women. I'm just pointing it out. I'm saying, of all the videos you usually see, it's usually white women freaking out. So white women, can you calm down a little? I love you. There's a joke with an asterisk. I love white women. I love all women. Yeah, we're going to this. I think the eclipse energy is going to be weird. I would love to freak out on you guys. Because most of the time I freak out in comedic ways. And I freak out from the heart. Thank you, MAGA's Gentle Giant. I will sun gaze. But I'll say again, Leo King said, don't look at this eclipse. That it's almost like the face of a demon that will then go into your soul. And it's a Capricorn eclipse, man. So, but please remember, when I made all these wild predictions in 2016 and 2017, things start to improve in September. And I can be wrong. I've definitely been wrong before, and I'm sure I'll be wrong again. But I've been kind of asking us all to hang on till September. That greed would dominate. Greed would be the most prevalent energy of 2020 until September. Which makes me, it's weird now thinking about it, going back to the bookend eclipse that started in 2001. And that September then led to 9/11, which led to a technocrat divide and conquer super state for 20 straight years. And it's weird that, so in my mind, like, hopefully we're coming out of that and almost going backwards into like a 1996, 1995, 1994 positivity to where good things can happen. And so that is how I want it to go down. I could be wrong. Like I said, we could veer off into the path of like a technology Spanish Inquisition. And you could get the rise of the third Antichrist. But, dude, we've had so many Antichrists since Hitler. Many of them have suited the book in my mind. And I definitely think the digital age has allowed them to spread a divide and conquer message unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of mankind. And so, look, I've said, dude, it feels like we've had a 7 years of tribulation 3 different times already. Like, how much more shitty shit do you need before you're like, all right, that satisfies the tribulation period? Okay, I love you guys. Thank you very much. I will probably be back in the future. Tonight, I'll probably play guitar. There's a moon coming up. I want everyone to have a 4th of July. Thank you to all the human beings and all the soldiers and all the people who got us to this moment. And that America has been a lighthouse, even though it has been flawed, of freedom. And Texas has been a lighthouse within a lighthouse. And it is our job to make sure that we keep civilization standing, and that hopefully over the next decade, we leave a better world for our children than the one we were born into. And that the transition from the baby boomers to Gen X is a little rocky, but I will hang in there, you hang in there. Try to keep up love, hope, and optimism. And when you are weak, I will try to be strong. And when I am weak, please try to be strong. And that one of my superpowers has always been forgiveness. And I am so done with 20 years of negativity. 20 years of Nibiru is going to butt fuck us all. Like Lucifer's riding in on Nibiru and he's just going to wipe out everything and torture us for a million years. I'm so tired of those salesmen, bro. You know? And I believe in a better world for us all. We will get to the promised land and hopefully I will be with you when we get there. So God bless everyone. Please stay cool. Have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July. Thank you to Michael, Platitudes, Magus Gentle Giant, Wagon Breath, Theresa, Andrea, Al, everybody out there, the Texas Angel, Ellie, like there's so many, David, Jaya, like there are so many cool people that, Noodles, everybody. Thank you to everybody. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. Please try to have a happy weekend. And let us try to turn the tide from now into September. And then the whole Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is going to be a pretty big deal. And we're going to rebalance it. So mind the formation. Stay cool. God bless everyone. And I will talk to you guys in the very near future.